Hey everyone, welcome back to the Trading with a Bot channel. If you are new here on this channel, we discuss cryptocurrency trading with automation. We'll look at algorithms, we'll look at trading platforms. So if that's something you are interested in, please do consider subscribing. I am very selective about what I show you on my channel, the platforms or strategies, what I recommend for you. And I look for something that I myself trust and use, and something that I believe would be of a value to you. So Mizar would be exactly fitting into that category. I had already explored that platform, I used this, and now it's time that I show this to you. I will start with the registration. And I want to show you the process of registration because actually I'd like to ask you to sign up using my referral ID. And you'll find a link below in the description. So you can just click and it will pick up the referral ID, or you can paste it here. And the reason I'm going through that process is because I want to show you the benefits you'll get when using my referral ID. You'll get a small bonus, starting bonus, and also a discount, a significant discount on your trading fees. So I'll show that to you visually now. So as I go through the registration and also as I go through showing you the website, I'll explain the model that Mizar uses for charging the clients. So it's not a free platform. You do pay something, but you pay when you make money. So there is no flat charge like most of the other platforms have. Let me now complete the registration. I'll open my email and confirm. Okay, so I completed my registration and I logged in to an account. It works well, so I want to log in into it again now to show you how a new account would look like if you register under my ID. And primarily, I want to show you that you would get a 5 USD worth of credits, and that means you can immediately start using the platform without spending anything. And potentially, these credits will be also enough for you to make some money before you decide to invest more into that platform. Additionally, if you click into your fee manager, you will see the 10% discount that I mentioned to you. So Mizar has different levels of pricing, and I will go through that with you. And when you start like as a regular account, you would have no reduction in your fees. But if you use my referral ID, you are already starting with a 10% discount. So I think it's a good deal. I do thus recommend for you to use my ref ID when you jump into this platform with me. One last part to comment on fees right now is that you would get an additional 20 USDT worth of credits when you complete all these 3 steps. So you connect to an exchange, that's naturally you need to do anyway, and then you can subscribe to a bot. So I'll show that to you in a moment. And finally, when you make some money or decide already to spend some money on credits, if you spend 10 USD at $10 worth of credits, you would get an additional 20, and you would top up your credits and allow yourself to enjoy the platform. So now, as I explained to you the registration and your basically subscription fees, which at the moment would be 0, you would not need to take out your wallet, I can jump into explaining to you the key functionality of the platform, as well as what I would recommend you to start with. So that's the first thing that I like about the platform. It's very affordable, or in fact, it's free for you to start using all of the advanced features on the platform and not to pay any money. And this is something we will also see now in this video by me using this account that I just created. So let's start by connecting our exchange account. So you can trade on spot or futures, it's up to you. And if you have one of these exchanges, you just connect it. If you don't, I would recommend OKX and also Bybit. These are my two favorite exchanges, very large trading volumes, a lot of work done into developing of these exchanges. They continue to improve with features, very good support, and lots of functionality as well. If you don't have any of these exchanges, OKX or Bybit, please do consider using my referral ID. It's below in the description of the video. So I'll use now, I think I'll use Bybit, and we will connect one of my sub accounts to Mizar.com, and I'll show you not the full process, but some specific steps that you need to be mindful of. Okay, so I will not really show you all the steps, and if you need the steps, you may find them on YouTube. Somebody may have already done it, or just write to me on comments or via my socials and I will help you. But here I generated API keys for my Bybit sub account 18. And I'll enable futures. And here's an important part. Some strategies are designed for a hedge mode. And that means you take the same pair and you can trade it in both directions, long and short, at the same time. And some strategies are designed just for one direction. So you can either have a long or a short. And it's up to a bot, up to a strategy. Neither of them is right or wrong. So for the strategy that I'm about to show you, I recommend the hedge mode. And you also need to switch your exchange to have a hedge mode on that sub account. Okay, name of the account, my keys are placed here. I put the hedge mode and I click next. And now we are trying to connect. Let's see if that will work. All right, so it connected successfully. Again, if you need help, just ping me. I will be happy to help you, or look for some other YouTuber who created detailed instructions. And I go to my exchanges now. All right, this is the account. I sub account 18 owned by Bit Exchange, hedge mode enabled. And I funded this account. I transferred 170 USDT. So that's my starting balance, and that's what I will use for my trading. So we connected one exchange. You could add more, of course. And I believe there is even a way for you to pay per trade. But we have the first exchange added, and also we completed one of these 3 steps in order to get more credits. So the next step is to subscribe to a bot. So we can subscribe to a bot by clicking here or going into the marketplace. And this way we would subscribe to an existing strategy that one of the published traders had designed. And there are statistics that you could review and make a decision which one you like more. We could also create our own very unique new bot instead of subscribing to somebody else's strategy. And I will cover that part in the next video. Currently, I would like to show you how to subscribe to an existing strategy. And I would like to choose actually my own one because I design it and I know how it works. And in fact, I recommend it. I had created multiple videos about my signal that is running on 3 commas, and the same signal, BTC Scalper strategy, is also sent to Mizar. I'm sending the same signal to Mizar platform, and I'm actually using the same settings that I used on 3 commas. I'm also using on Mizar. So it's essentially an identical strategy that's running on 2 different platforms. And that is something that I do recommend for you, and I'll show you how to subscribe to it. So my BTC Scalper is divided into 2 bots. Instead of doing one bot with both signals, long and short, I decided I'll create 2 separate bots, and I run them on one account, which is running in a hedge mode. So I have the long signal and the short signal, and by clicking here on this icon, we can see the statistics. I started this in the end of May. In June, there was 4.6%, and currently we have July, which is not yet ended, and we have 2.8%, and the last 30-day return is 7.2%. And what I really like about Mizar, about this particular platform, is that it's reporting ROI objectively. So different leverages and different future settings can skew the ROI calculation. And what Mizar is doing, it's always calculating ROI as if you were trading with 1x leverage. So it's taking full capital requirement that you would need to run something on futures and not liquidate. So we have these statistics about the ROI. We have number of deals per day, and you can see the pairs that are being traded. I'm only trading one pair, BTC USDT, with that bot. You could see some additional statistics here that's useful for the bots that have various exits and entries, various targets, various altcoins. My bot is kind of very risk averse and very static in that way. It's only trading Bitcoin. It has a certain target for profit, and depending on the market conditions, it may perform a bit better or may perform worse. So I recommend for you to subscribe to that, and that's what I will do now as well on this new account. Let's see what else to show you. I'll show you more of these interfaces in the next videos. Maybe a last thing to point out, here we have followers of that bot. I'm following this bot on my other account with a smaller balance. There is another person who's following this bot with a larger account, and he's making a decent profit. And apparently this person just started to follow this bot, so he's currently at 0. So now we'll be the fourth person, first account to invest into this bot. Now, one thing to point out, that one of the ways the whole ecosystem works, the bot creators, strategy creators, they publish the strategies because they also expect a bit of a profit sharing with you. So for each of these bots in the marketplace, you will see the profit sharing ratio. So I'm asking for 10% of the profit. That means, for example, if you make $10 with my bot, that I'm taking $1 for myself. Some people take a bit more, some people take a bit less, but 10% is something that's reasonable, and you don't really need to worry about it because Mizar facilitates these transactions for you and me. So you just need to be aware of that, and then when you click on invest, you will be able to proceed with copying this bot and this strategy. So I want to be careful and not to overload you with the information. And if this is very new to you, just continue watching my videos and I'll give more details. Currently, I just want to show you how to subscribe to a bot. So we clicked on the invest button. Next, we will choose which exchange that we want to use for that particular bot and that particular strategy. So in the real trading, I have just one exchange that I connected a moment ago. It's this account 18 on my Bybit. And this bot that I've shown you, this BTC Scalper, is supporting Bybit, Binance, OKX, or BitGet. So if you have any of these four, you can continue with the steps that I just described. So I select the exchange, and I have a few more settings that I can configure before starting to run this bot on a live account. There are three fields that you can provide an input for to further configure your copy of my strategy. So you can customize your copy based on your wallet size. If you have 10K, you can trade larger amounts, or if you have only 170 USDT, you'll need to have smaller order sizes. So for this amount, I'll put 50 USDT as the base order. I'll have just one position that I will trade at a time, and I'll set my leverage to 20. Again, I will skip the explanation of how I sized these variables. There are some details that Mizar provides to you, and we can go through them for my bot or other people bots and try to understand the rationale and the math behind. For now, we just continue with this high-level explanation that I'm providing. So I put the base order, max positions, leverage. I will not reinvest the profits, and I will continue to the next screen. Here, we are reminded that this is a long bot. We are trading on futures with 20x. There is the reminder of my fee settings based on my current account standing, and the reminder that this is a DCA bot and we do not have a stop loss. Again, some additional information that you will need to be able to interpret if you will be taking your own decisions about different bots that you would need to invest in. And that's actually all. Then you just click acknowledge and you click on invest. If I go to my subscriptions, I will see that I have invested into this strategy. It's active, and currently I can also see that I don't have any position open. Let me go back to dashboard. In dashboard, you can see that we already completed 2 of the steps required. So we're moving forward, we're making progress. And there's one more thing that I want to do before we close for today's video. I would like to continue to the marketplace, go back there and subscribe to the short signal that I have for my bot. So I have subscribed to the long one just a moment ago, and I invested 50 USDT as the base order. And I would like to invest into a short bot that will run on the same account, but I would like to make a smaller base order, so it will hedge a bit against each other, the long and the short. I'll still use 20 leverage, still one position maximum, but instead of 30, well, I'll do 35. Okay, so we are still running on the same account. I proceed like before, acknowledge, and invest. So I have two bots running. I can see this here in my DCA bots tab. And once these bots will start making money, I will be able to drill down a bit and see on their performance. And I can also go to history here on the left and look at the different statistics of these bots' performance. So currently it's empty. So let me make a pause here now and come back to this video and finish it in a few hours or maybe tomorrow to show you at least one transaction that these bots would make. Okay, now I'm back. We had one transaction. So if I go to history and positions, you'll see that at 8 p.m. there was a long. It lasted only 4 minutes, so that was a good scalp. Fast entry and exit. We exited with 0.3% of a profit, which was 0.09 USDT. So that was the first successful trade that we've taken after setting up the two bots. And if I go to, I'm here under DCA bots. If I go to bot manager bots, I'll see them here. If I go to subscriptions, I'll see that here, what I discussed, we had one profit that was realized, and currently neither of the bots have an open position, so it's 0 out of 1, 0 out of 1. So they are waiting for a signal. And there's nothing for you to do. You just leave it all running. You can, of course, close the page and come back tomorrow and look at the position history to see what profits were taken. With this, I would like to close this episode, and I'll record a new one in a week from now. We'll look at the history of this particular strategy. We'll look at other strategies. We'll look at how Mizar takes its fees and how it's reflected in your credits being depleted. And if you have any questions, of course, also do leave me a comment and I'll answer your questions in the next videos. Thanks a lot.